I'm Luke Gibson with Farm Fence Solutions and PROTECH Machinery, and we're here with the PROTECH 220B. It's an Evo machine that came about early parts of COVID when we kind of discovered that we were going to really struggle to source the parts we needed on machines that had already been designed. The basis of this machine was mostly be modular, where we can source parts from other places if we need to, and also to replace the Evo 2, which was a bigger fixed track base, didn't have telescopic tracks, less capable, didn't have the slew range that this one's got. We're able to use a variety of different engine packages in it, stuck with all Yanmar. We've got some Hats engines ordered to test, but the good thing about the way that we've designed this is that we can use several different engine packs from Yanmar. So we're not limited like the Evo 1 is designed and built. It was going to take a total redesign to make the Evo 1 fit different engines. We thought, well, if we're going to do that, we might as well design a new machine. The 220B came about, and it's 220 because it's got 220 degrees of slew. Comes past center both ways. The B because it's got boom lift. So we'll show you that in a minute, but this cylinder here is the boom lift cylinder. So this machine with a even shorter mast than the tall mast that's on the Evo 1 will reach onto a 16-foot post, and then of course reaches down below grade. So with all the telearm capacity of this machine, it'll swing in an almost 17-foot arc. So in theory, and we've done it on some 12-foot spacing, we've never done it on 8-foot spacing, but if you're tracking right down the middle, say a vineyard job that was 8-foot spacing, you would be able to drive 3 rows of posts in one pass. It's got that much range. It's really neat to back into like a brace assembly at a corner on a fence, and you can do all the work without tracking the machine. It's got quite a bit of range, and we're really happy with the way it turned out. This machine's got wide tracks on it, which we're putting on all of them now. The beauty of the 220B is there's no options. It comes loaded. It's got it all. Starting with the high torque auger drive. One of the big gripes on an Evo 1, and it's not even a huge gripe, but it is a gripe, is that the auger drive is kind of in your face. It sits on the operator side of the mast. On this machine, it's on the opposite side of the mast, same as you'll see the other machines that we developed to deal with that COVID crisis. Just in general, walking around this machine, you can see the evolution. They're called an Evo for a reason. It's an evolution. They don't stay the same for very long, but everything just continues to get better and more professional. And one of the ways that we do that are with bulkhead fittings. You'll see the bulkhead fittings on the 220B. You'll also see a lot of them on the M360, which is a compact machine. But what that does is it makes it way easier if you do have a hose problem to swap a hose. So in the field, you're pulling out a 5-foot long hose instead of a 25-foot long hose. So every opportunity that we've had to make those changes, we have. This one's got a hydraulic slew, an actual slew ring, versus the Evo 1 that runs on a mechanical ring but on a hydraulic ram. That's what limits that to 120 degrees. So this one's effectively unlimited if we can swing past the tracks, but 220 degrees is a comfortable spot. Obviously, operating with both tracks out is not something you would typically do. It's going to be one track or the other, depends on which side you're working on. But this machine, say on a side hill like this, with this track all the way in, you'd have to be boomed all the way out, but it'll operate. The machine will actually operate on a 49-degree side slope, assuming you've got the traction to hold it. And at 49 degrees is when the foot actually hits the track. So steeper than you're gonna run it. It will operate. The 220Bs come standard with toolboxes both sides, tool drawers, and then there's an additional toolbox in the middle of the post bed. 220B comes standard with work lights. We can add, if you want, tool carriers, can do that. Comes wired for an inverter. So if you want to run an inverter for charging batteries, it's wired for it. You don't have to put it in if you don't want. We can do that for you if you like. The auger bit storage, we put a spot for one on both sides of the loader arm. The loader is kind of what makes the 220B really unique in its field. We feel like we're ahead of the curve and want to stay ahead of the curve, and so attaching a skid steer quick attach style loader that actually has some capacity. So you can run 4,000 pounds on this and it's going to function fine. We actually derate it to 4,000. We've tested it much higher, and it does a great job and super stable as you do it. So having that loader function it's a game changer, not to be cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. It's a real game changer. Then it's got dual auxiliary hydraulics. So if you want to run something linear like a clamshell bucket, it's got that. It's also got a constant flow. You could, if you're coordinated enough, run a second post driver on the front of this machine. So the math works out to run 16-foot post spacing and track ahead. So if you had 2 operators, 1 machine, skid steer driver with the one that we build, the P240T, With it right on here, you can run 2 drivers at the same time, and the spacing works out great. It's also great if you're running a net stretcher like the Force 5, or actually any variety of them work great on here. If you've already got one, that's perfect. But pallet forks for carrying your fence posts, carrying your welding rig. We stock hydraulic drive welders from Dynaset. So if you wanted to run a hydraulic welder off those remotes, you can do that. Of course, we've got the rock spike storage up here. We did leave some mount places if you wanted to put a blade on it. We can put a blade on it. We can do like a bigger blade even if you wanted. We've got attach points, 3 of them on the loader for some like rubber claws that you put your spade in there. Any kind of a tamp bar, a round handled tool that'll go in these positions, and then one across the front, one on the other side. The modular capability of this machine also means that we can run different pumps. So we can run a POC lane pump, we can run a Danfoss pump, we can run different final drives if we need to. All those are not options on the other machines without a total redesign. And again, if we're gonna do that, now's the time. This is a post rack. It's ambidextrous, so it can go either side of the machine if you wanted, but basically just pull a pin and it rotates out. And where this is handy, if you're obviously working down a fence line, a wide post, say a 12-foot long post hanging wide ways on the machine is going to be in the fence line. It's going to be in your way. And so this is a great place to carry your strainers, or if you're working on a high fence job, you can carry a whole pack of long posts in this. Again, it's all hard ox, so it's not unbendable, but it's really tough to bend. And then of course it can come off if space is a premium. We've also built a vise into it. So of course with this swung out, it's a great place to clamp a pipe down if you're coping pipe or cutting a strut. Here we've got all the controls for the front of the machine, which are also all on the remote control, but all the loader tilts and whatnot are here. So say you left the remote at home and you still needed to hook something up to the front, well, you can just slew the control arm over here, and you've got all your controls, and you can see the front of the machine to hook up an implement. It's still easy to do. The controls, one of these days we'll get a walk around to the first Evo Compact. It's in Nebraska at the moment on a rent, but there's only 6 levers, and so it was all lightweight and there was nothing to it. And the control arm, you can see the evolution even of the control arms. They just get heavier and there's more functions, and you add remote control and auto level, and we'll go through all these extra controls later, but it just kept getting heavier. And so the 220B we designed with a hydraulic ram on the control arm. So the control arm, we can stow it hydraulically. There's no pin to place anywhere, and of course it's got a docking station where when you're traveling down the road it's rock solid. So the 220B is the first machine that we've put an auto throttle as well as a remote start on. So all the other machines you have to walk to the front to start. This machine with the key in basically the auxiliary position, so turn back 1 notch, we just flip a switch and we can start it and stop the machine from back here. And then it's also got a throttle preset, so you just flip a switch, it goes right to the throttle setting you want, flip it back, it comes to idle. Makes it really handy when you're on and off the machine, or it's, guys will build these machines different ways or use them different ways, but if it's a single man machine, if it's a 1-man crew, he might be at a brace assembly for 30 minutes while he works that out or ties wire off or does whatever. And say he doesn't want the machine to cool off a day like today when it's 0, well, you can just flip the switch, kicks down to idle. Where a lot of guys that are running these machines, they've got, they got a brace building man, and they've got a wire stretching man, and they've got a post driving man, where it's fired up and it just never shuts off. Plenty of ways to run the machine. This is a 2-speed machine, same as the Evo one, so it's got 2-speed tracking. This one will track about 8 miles an hour top speed, which is plenty fast. Obviously the lights are back here, and then the parking brake and the auger engage. Something really unique to the way that we set these up, the primary pump that runs the final drives, so all the tracking power, which is what takes the most hydraulic pressure on a machine like this, we divert that to run the auger drive. So the only things that primary pump operates are the final drives and the auger drive. So we use a big final drive for the auger drive. It's got more torque than most auger drives. It's really proven to be as reliable as you can get. And the huge benefit is, as soon as we engage the parking brake, we've got 3,500 PSI available. We could get more if we needed it, but that's plenty available for that auger drive, so it doesn't ever bog down. I mean, you never run out of torque in that auger drive. We're running it through a secondary pump, say, or you couldn't divert that and it was share and flow, it would severely limit the auger drive. So It's a way that we're able to kind of get by having to have a high capacity pump that's independent just to run that auger drive. And that leaves all the other functions, on their own pump, where you can make adjustments while you're tracking and it doesn't affect your power. Same as when you're running the auger drive. It doesn't affect anything if you need to tilt or pick up or push down or more down pressure, less down pressure. It's all there for you. The post cap on all of them, standard gripper plate, is actually set up so that when the auger drive is swung underneath it, it locks into that post cap and it eliminates all that rotational pressure that would be basically on this assembly. So it takes all that rocking out of it and makes it rock solid. We can also do left-hand drive auger bits on this where it's pulling into the machine. Say you didn't want to run that cap, you wanted to run capless. You can run with no cap on these if you want. We can run left-hand auger bits where it's driving that auger drive into the mast if you needed it. This telemast, same as the Evo 1, you can reach below grade, but this one does it really extreme with the boom slew. So with that boom lift slewed all the way out, we can reach below grade. It's about 4 feet. So also having that reach is nice. If you need to get across a ditch and keep the machine on the road, you can do it. The drop weight on the bigger machines, obviously more is better to a point. We've settled in on this machine, it's about 1,000 pounds, a little bit more. We've run 1,200. It works in the right ground, but 1,000 is where it likes it. We've done a couple of taller mast machines, so capable of a 20-foot post on these. That's getting up there. That's a tall fence post, but obviously, if you've got a special requirement, we can do it. Again, I'm Luke Gibson with Farm Fence Solutions and PROTECH Machinery, and we'd love to hear from you if you'd like to know more about these machines. Give us a call anytime, 812-512-9535. You can email us at sales@farmfencesolutions.com, or of course visit our website, farmfencesolutions.com, anytime. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're out there. If you got any questions, don't be afraid to reach out. We'd be happy to answer them.